Hello, good morning to you all. It is Monday again, almost the end of October. Would you believe it? Today I've got some very pretty neck bracelets to make with you. I'm using some Bicone, some gorgeous sparkly cubes. I do love a cube-shaped bead. It's it's a bit of me. So I've got 4 different colours for you to play with. You are going to make quite a few up in your kit, so if you do prefer, you could make a necklace with this instead if you wanted to. And of course, you can change up the pattern and the order in which you want to put your bracelets together. It's going to be a nice quick make today, just some lovely easy stringing, a few little findings, and lots and lots of sparkle. So drop me a comment. Where are you watching from in the world today? How's your weekend been? Have you done anything nice? What have you been up to? What's the weather like today? It is a very autumnal day. It's been extremely windy over the weekend, very wet as well. Today it seems dry. The wind subsided, but it's grey skies. Good morning to Jan. She says, good morning, Natalie, and everybody from an overcast Sudbury. Yeah, overcast is how it is here as well. Good morning to Carol. How are you? Lisa's in as well. She says she hopes everybody is well. Good morning to Rachel, or Fairness Born, in a cloudy Barrow. And good morning to Joanne. She says, good morning all. Hope everyone's had a lovely weekend. It's gone very, very quick. I think it went very quick. So I'm going to take you over to the website now. We are, of course, totallybeads.co.uk. And if you head over to the site, you'll be able to catch up on all of our video tutorials, including this one. So over we go. And you should be able to find us here. So click into the video tutorial category, whichever way you prefer to get into it. Are we on? It's just going a bit slow. Here we are. Okay, so head into the video tutorial category, and if you scroll down right at the top, we've got some recent makes. Today I'm doing the Ariana crystal bracelets. Now these cubes are just lovely. I love it. I think it adds that extra facet, that extra sparkle, a little bit more texture to your pieces. They're very pretty and they're absolutely amazing quality. Now you're going to get to make 4 bracelets up in this design. Each bracelet is 8 inches in length. So if you want to make it smaller, then you're going to have some left over. Just measuring that against the ruler, yeah, it's just a little bit over 8 inches. So a lot of people would wear a 7-inch bracelet or a 6.5-inch bracelet. We want to make sure you've got plenty in there. So you've got enough to make 4 8-inch bracelets, and each kit is £15.99. So I'll show you the beauties that are in these kits. This one is the champagne. Now I've put these on a gold findings set. So your callotte, your crimp beads, your gorgeous little rounded edge cube spacers, and your gorgeous toggle clasp are all going to be in a lovely gold finish. So I'm using the crystal cube beads, your crystal bicone beads, your spacer cube beads, your toggle clasp, your callottes, your jump rings, your crimp beads, and the tigertail wire. All of that is going to be in your kit, and you're going to have enough to make 4. So if you want to know exactly what colours I'm using and what dimensions and sizes they are, then just scroll to the bottom. You'll see the crystal faceted cube beads are 6mm in size. These are champagne, and you're going to get the most beautiful cubes on these. I'll show you them under the camera light as well. So they've got like a clarity to them. Well, these ones do anyway, but they've got this beautiful champagne finish, and when you put them against the gold, it looks even more so. I'm also going to be using the lemon chiffon bicone beads, which are 5mm in size. You've got a gorgeous little rope toggle clasp there, which is 10mm, and then the spacer beads, they're little cubes as well, so they match this beautifully, but they've got little rounded corners to them. Really, really pretty. Again, going to add in even more sparkle. They're 3mm in size. So this one here is your gorgeous champagne colourway. I've got the hint of blue, which you know I'm going to love, absolutely love. This time I've put these findings on a rhodium finish. So you're going to get little rhodium coloured spacer beads, just a little slightly darker silver tone. You're going to get your clasp, your toggle clasp in that as well, and all of your findings. These cubes and bicones are all the same size as the other colourways, but these are a gorgeous hint of blue crystal faceted cube for 6mm, and I'm using the electric green on the bicones. I'm using the electric green, but when you put them with the blue, they just look blue to me. And then of course you've got those rhodium spacers as well. So that's what you're getting in this kit, enough to make 4 8-inch bracelets. I've got the Mystic Rainbow, and this is the one I'm going to demonstrate with today. It's gorgeous. So this is on the silver colourway. Look, if I just hover over the cubes, again, you've got that lovely transparent nature to the cube, but then it's just got this gorgeous finish on it. So there's purples, there's blues, there's greens, there's gold, there's all sorts of twinkles on them. I'm going to be using the light sapphire, which again have got a hint of blue to them, in terms of the bicones that I'm using, and these are going to be on your silver plated findings. So your toggle and your clasp, which is your toggle, your jump rings, your cubes, they're all going to be in a silver plated finish. So that one is the Ariana in the Mystic Rainbow. And then lastly, it's showing is out of stock. So I will ask Simon to update it, because when I started this morning, the hint of blue was out of stock, and that's being updated. So I'm sure we will have Mystic Rainbow as well. I will double check that. Didn't last long, did it? Which is a good sign, but do be patient, because I'm hoping we'll get that added back in. This is your rainbow mirror. Now these are still transparent on the corners, if you can see here, but they have their most amazing plated effect on them. There's golds, there's blues, there's pinks, there's purples. The colours aren't showing properly on this because obviously how the light works. It's got that kind of aurora borealis finish to it, that kind of AB kind of effect, but more so it's plated, so it really bounces back those colours. And these ones are again 6mm in size, and I've matched them with the Rainbow Premium Crystal Bicones of 5mm. These ones I've put on the black plate. I thought it would be nice to have 4 different kind of metal finishes with these bracelets. So do bear with us. As soon as I finish the live, I'll send a message over to Simon and see if we can get that updated at the warehouse so we have more stock available for you. So all of your bracelets today are going to make up 4 bracelets. Each kit, is going to make 4 bracelets. They're really straightforward to do. I think they'll make beautiful Christmas presents. I'm just saying the word now because now is the time. I think we need to all start making for our Christmas fairs or making for ourselves, which is just as important as well. And they're really nice, easy makes to do. So these are the Ariana crystal bracelets. If you want to head over to the website, and as I say, I'll try and get that rainbow mirror back in stock as soon as I possibly can for you. So I'm going to say a quick good morning to everybody who's joined us. I've got loads of you in now, which is lovely. Thank you so much for being with me. I hope I've said hello to everybody. Good morning to Alison, who is in North Dorset. Good morning to Pamela, who's in NC. Is it New York City? That's NYC, isn't it? Am I missing something? It is Monday, bear with me. Good morning to lovely Yolanda, who says, good morning, happy Monday. I was looking for you at 5. Of course, Michigan time. Yeah, so our clocks have gone back. Here where we are in England, in the UK, the clocks have changed. So we spring forward and we fall back. That's how we remember it. That's how I remember it. And it's autumn, so I think that may have caught quite a few of you off guard if you aren't in our time zone. So I apologise for that. Should have put a little reminder. So that means everyone's thinking, where are you? And I'm an hour late, but I'm not. I'm bang on time. It is now 10 past 10 here. She said she was looking for me at 5 in Michigan time. Weekend was good. Oh, she's taking the grandbaby skating birthday party, and it's been a little bit cold. Good morning to Just Me. Good morning to Mina. Hello to Anne. She says, good morning, Natalie and everybody. She's in cloudy Runcorn. Caravan season in Yorkshire has finished. My sister's going to her caravan this weekend to take down all the awning and everything. It's just been so windy. So nice to have you back in Runcorn, though. It's not far from me at all. Used to work up that way. Used to teach in school and a college in Runcorn. So good morning to Camille. She says, another blue sky here, nice and bright. Hope the little man's back to normal. Yeah, he's on half term though now, so he's gone to nanny. So he's watching. Hello. Good morning. Peace and love back at you, Anastasia. She says, right across the pond. It's now 6:05. Thank you so much. She said she's seen me on me TV show at the weekend and she liked my sweater. I was trying to do like festive because it was meant to be a festive show, but I'm in my autumn season and I don't get along to wear my autumnal. So it was a chunky knit. It had little foxes on. This one's got little foxes on my pockets as well. And little acorns on my sleeves. So I do love an autumnal jumper. Good morning to Mina. She says, love this champagne colour. And she says she's going to do a necklace and a bracelet. And you went to Kenya. Have you been to Kenya this weekend, Mina? Good morning to Pauline. She says, good morning. It's a sunny autumnal morning where Pauline's watching. Sheila's in as well. Good morning to Izzy. She says she's missed us the last couple of weeks. She's just catching up and she's about to order last week's beautiful bracelets. They're still in stock if you want to get anything. And hopefully we'll have all these in stock as well. Good morning to you. You are Katerina Babe. Is that right? Katerina, is it? Good morning to you from Ontario in Canada. Thank you so much for being here with me. Julie's in as well. She says a lovely project. They've all fell into a basket. North Carolina, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. So we've got lots of people from everywhere, which is absolutely wonderful. This is the straightforwardest make you will ever do. I love some simple, lovely, gorgeous, classy jewellery. This one is the champagne. I'm going to hold them up to the camera. I want to look at the sparkle. It sparkles galore. And all I'm doing is alternating between my gorgeous little cubes. If you can see, they've got little rounded edges on them. So you've got that flat face on all 4 sides, which is going to add the twinkle. Then I've got the gorgeous premium 5mm bicones, which are just delightful. And then these cubes, which I absolutely love. So this one is your champagne on your kind of gold rope toggle clasp. You can see how pretty those toggles are there. You've got that lovely rope effect and really easy to just slide one in to the clasp. So that one is your champagne, looking very pretty. Then we have this gorgeous one. Camille says the champagne is my fave. They would look beautiful mixed. I love mixing metals, but I also love mixing colours. So this one is your hint of blue. And I've popped this with the rhodium finish. So just to show you the difference on the metals, if I was to show you the rhodium clasp against the silver clasp, can you see how that is slightly darker finish? And then we have the black plate as well, which is darker again. So this one is your hint of blue. I mean, I don't know about a hint. That's blue to me. But again, all those gorgeous sparkles. When we get to this one, which is the one I'm going to demonstrate for you today, this one's on the silver, and this is Mystic Rainbow. And I just look at the colours. So I can see purples in there. I can see greens. I can see golds. I can see blue. I can see violet sky. Absolutely gorgeous. And again, lovely little toggle just to finish. And then lastly, which I'm hoping we can get back in stock, are these absolute beauties. This is your rainbow mirror. And I've put these on the black plate. Now your bicones have got the same finish. So you can see how they just bounce that colour back. You've got all sorts on there, and it's just not doing it justice. They're looking more kind of silver, but I promise you when you get these, you'll see all of those colours. So you've got like real purples and blues and greens and golds on there. They just twinkle absolutely lovely. So let's get making. Really straightforward. I'm going to use my Tigertail wire. Now Tigertail is a brilliant beading material to use, great for stringing projects. It's got a real strength to it, but it's not too rigid. So you can see I can still have that lovely flex. How this one's made, I think this is 7 strands of very fine wire, and they are kind of twisted together and then coated in like a nylon coating. So perfect when you're using crimp beads. In your kits, you'll be supplied with your crimp beads and your Callottes and the Tigertail wire, which all fit together perfectly. So if you want to, you can crimp these crimp beads with crimping pliers as you're meant to do, or you can use my cheating tip, which makes things so much easier. Because I'm going to be using the Callotte's going to hide my crimp beads. It's going to make like a little beaded kind of finish, enabling me to attach whichever clasp I want. If I wanted to change the clasp, you can change that really easy without having to undo any of your bracelet and make it again. So these are the Callottes that I'm using. I'm going to be using 4 crimp beads. I'm going to double crimp them, so 2 are going to fit really snugly inside. It's going to give me that really professional finish with just absolute ease. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my Tigertail wire to about 8 inches. This design is going to give you enough to make an 8-inch bracelet. Obviously, I'm going to trim off the ends of it, but then by the time I've attached my Callottes and my clasp, that's going to add a little bit of length to it as well. So I'm only going to need to cut 8 inches, which is about 20 centimetres. If there's ever a kink in it, I just run it through my nails, like on my fingers, and that just straightens it out a little bit. So I'm just going to cut there. In terms of tools, all I need is 2 pairs of pliers to open up my jump ring. So I'm going to use my chain nose pliers, anything that's got a nice smooth finish, not to mar my jump rings. I'm going to use wire cutters just to trim my Tigertail, and tend to use, instead of my crimping pliers, I tend to use my little tweezer nose pliers just to get right in there. That's all you need. So if you're designing your bracelet and the pattern in which you want to put it together, you can absolutely do that in any which way you choose. You're getting enough materials in here to make 4, so you can play around with the design. And what I would suggest is you start from the middle and work out if you're doing it that way, so you can make sure that you've got that symmetry and it's a nice balanced finished piece. If I know how I'm going to add everything on, then I start with my crimp and my Callotte, and that gives me kind of like a bead stopper without having to use my bead stopper, so nothing's going to fall off as I string it on. Anastasia says I need more shaped beads to my collection, so thank you. It's nice to have a little bit of a variety, isn't it? Obviously round beads you use for everything, but if I just move all these into the centre, the twinkles on them are just beautiful, and they're really gorgeous size as well. They're not too delicate and they're not too chunky, but look, just moving that around my fingers, hopefully you can see how beautiful they are. And my toggle clasp is really sweet as well. You've got that rope finish on that. This one's in the silver. So I'm going to take my crib beads out. As I say, I'm going to use 4, so 2 on each end, and you'll get that in your kit as well. You're going to get enough to make 4 bracelets in this. Nice quick make. You can have a bracelet done in 5 minutes. I'm going to take my Callotte and I'm going to pop my Callotte onto my Tigertail. If you prefer, you can put your crimp beads on first and then slide your Callotte on, but I tend to put my Callotte on first. I just want to make sure that it's facing up and out. I've got too much sparkle on the mat now, so it's going in that direction. And I'm going to pick up 2 of the crimp beads and I'll just slide them onto the Tigertail, so they will fit really, really nicely. And then going to take my crimping pliers or my chain nose pliers, and I'm just going to press down. So I'm sliding that callotte right up to the end of the tiger tail, so I don't need to trim any tiger tail off. If you're making multiples of these and you are getting 4 in your kit, if you want to leave your beads, I know when Mina has a little tip when she's batch making bracelets, you leave all your beads on your elastic, on your or tiger tail, and you leave that on the reel, don't you? And then you just work off it that way, and then you're not going to be wasting anything. But I slide it right up to the end and just flatten it down. So you can see how I've got one rounded one and one flat one. All we're going to do is move the next one up so it butts up against the next callotte, and then we press that down. So now I've got 2 callottes, which are, 2 crimps, which are flattened against that wire, and they're going to hold on all my beads in place. If one fails, we've got that other one for extra safety. I then slide my callotte up, and I want to keep my crimp beads flat inside of them. You can see they're just in there. So when I bring this over with my fingers, just pressing that over, you'll see there's a little gap, but we're starting to line up these 2 ends. Then taking my pliers, a little press, just gently together, that will capture the crimp beads inside the callotte, and it will just close it up. So now these are fully pressed together. Morning Heather, how are you doing? Joanne says, Natalie, you've set my inner magpie off and she's loving them all. They're just gorgeous, and I do think they look beautiful mixed together. Right, so now all you need to do is just decide how you want to string them on. I think in total I'm using 22 of the little crimp, the little cube beads. I can show you the corners are just kind of softened on there. So I think I'm using like 22 of these. I think I'm using, is it 10 of the cubes, or 11 of the cubes and 10 of the bicones. You put them on in any order you want. Mine's going to go really straightforward. I'm going to do the little spacer cube, and then I'm going to use my gorgeous cube bead, and I'm just going to slide that onto the tiger tail. And then each time I pop a bead on, I'm going to pop a little spacer in between. So I'm starting with a cube, and I want to finish with a cube as well. But if you want to start with a bicone and finish with a bicone, you absolutely can. I'm then going to pick up my gorgeous 5mm premium bicone and slide that on, and then go back to the spacer bead. So that is my pattern repeat. Really, really straightforward. We're going to go cube and bicone. And each time we alternate between those two, we're going to put a little spacer cube on. Spacer cube, bicone, spacer cube, crystal cube, spacer cube, bicone. So there's no right and wrong. You do whatever you want. I just thought these look really nice, just having that little alternation between them. If you decide, actually, I want these up against each other, you just take them off. Nothing is fixed in place until you have popped your other colour on the other end with your crimp beads. So you can play around with your design. And why not make each one slightly different? You know, you've got 4 in your kit. So if you wanted, you could do one maybe with just the bicones, and you could do one with just the cubes, or you can make a necklace out of one of them as well. I am going to be doing a cube necklace, I think, in the future, because I just love a cube bead. They are very on trend as well, I think. They've been, as you say, you know, just having those different shapes in your jewellery gives you something a little bit different. And you can make one of these in 5 minutes. I might do a gold champagne one as well, just given the time. Sometimes I'll be like, well, I'll just show you the step by step on how to complete this. We won't have time to make a full size one, but today I've got all the time in the world. And it's nice when the weather's like this, you know, where I am. I know some of you are having lovely sunny skies, but weather's been rubbish, so just want to stay in, and I mean I should be staying in and tidying up, but I'd rather stay in and make jewellery. I've got a few pieces that I do need to make for my Totally Beads live, so I'll probably do that this afternoon. But what's good about these makes is I often refer to like having a present drawer. So, you know, if you've got this time of year, you do sometimes have guests called unexpectedly, or you might have a little, you know, thank you teacher gift or something. And I tend to think if I make up a couple of these bracelets or something like this, I can just keep it in my present drawer. And then if I've forgotten about somebody or I'm looking for just a little something to gift them, then, you know, you can have these made up really, really quickly, ready to go. They'd also make really lovely stocking fillers. And I think they would make nice little secret Santa gifts as well, because they just look beautiful, those sparkles. I think having that sparkle, I mean, sparkles sparkle, isn't it? If it's sparkling, it's perfect every time of the year. But when we get to this festive period, like, this just looks like ice to me. It's gorgeous. I agree, Camille, tidying up is a naughty word. So I'm now going to add on my last spacer. So I've started with a spacer and a cube, and I'm finishing with a spacer and a cube. I'm just going to check that I've got my pattern so it alternates. I'm going from cube to bicone, and there's a little spacer in between each one. When I'm happy with my bracelet, I'm going to curve it into a kind of rounded shape. I tend to do this when I'm making necklaces as well, but particularly with bracelets, because we want to get that tension nice. So then I'm just going to pop on my callotte, and it's going up and out again as usual. And then I'm going to pop on just one of my crimp beads and let that drop right down to the bottom of my callotte. Now I'm just going to give it a little push, so I'm pulling on the tiger tail, and I'm just making sure that these are nice and close up together. There's no big gaps in between my beads, but at the same time it's not too stiff and not too rigid. I've just got enough kind of slack, I suppose, on there to get that shape. I'm then going to come in with my pliers, and I'm going to flatten that crimp bead. So by just pressing inside, I've now flattened the crimp bead into the callotte. But again, we want a double crimp just to make sure it's nice and sturdy. So I'm going to take an extra one, and I'm going to let that drop down on top of the last. And again, with my pliers, just give it a little flatten. Don't need to put too much pressure on it, just enough to flatten it out. You'll see now that those beads aren't moving. They're all secure and they're all in place. So once you flatten them out, all you need to do is come in with your cutters. Now I'm going to cut any excess of my tiger tail, probably got about an inch there. And I'm making sure I'm not cutting the crimp bead or the callotte. I'm just cutting the remainder of the tiger tail. And I want to cut it fairly close. So then when I take my callotte, I'm going to push it down again with my fingers just to get it lined up. When I'm happy with the alignment, a little bit of pressure on that rounded part of the callotte, kind of towards the back of it really, and you'll see that I'll just close it perfectly together. Those little holes are now lined up. If they're not quite perfect, you can put a little bit of pressure on them to the side just to line it up. All I need to do now is attach my jump rings and my lovely toggle clasp. So the jump rings I've got, I think they're 5x1 outer diameter. So they're small and delicate, but not too fiddly. And I'm going to take 2 pairs of my pliers. So I've got my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to give it a little twist towards me to open. Now you can see when I've taken that out of the packet, can you see how those 2 ends aren't quite lined up? Because they're made by wrapping wire round and round and round. These are 1mm wire or 18 gauge, and they're wrapped around a dowel and then they're cut, so they kind of become a little bit staggered. So all I do is I give it a little twist to open by a few millimeters, and I'm going to take it back so it closes, and then a little twist again, just to open, just to align it. I'm going to slide that through the 2 little loops on the culotte, and then one part of my clasp, doesn't matter which one. I'm going to go for the bar, and then just to close it, I'm going to take lots of surface area of those ends of the jump ring and twist away to close. And if you hear that little click, that's my satisfying sound. It means your jump ring is perfectly closed and perfectly lined up. So that's that side done. Same again on the other. I tend to give it a little open and close to begin with. There's fluff on there. Open it up. I'm not opening it up much, just a few millimeters. I don't want to, distort the shape or weaken it here by opening it really, really far. And then through this bit, and then this is kind of like the O or the ring of the toggle. And then back again to close it up. My bracelet is now complete, ready to wear within minutes. There you go. Isn't it beautiful? Love it. Sheila says this is a very quick make, Natalie. It is. It's super quick. Anastasia says, Natalie, I'm going to share this video with my friend. She wanted to learn how to make jewellery, use wire, and I try to show her your way of a bracelet. This way she can understand it much better. Thank you, Anastasia. You can always share our makes. You can share them if you've got what I always find is quite a useful thing to do. If there's any videos that I like that comes up on my Facebook feed particularly, then I'll always save it, and then I can come back to it, or I can share it. And if I share it on my profile, then it's there for me to know exactly which one it was, but also kind of gives a little wider reach. The joy for me is teaching. I like being able to show. I mean, there's not much skill in this. It's straightforward as anything. So it's a really good beginner make. But I think everybody should be able to, it should be accessible. Everyone should have a hobby and be able to create pretty things for a really good price. So this one, Carol, that I'm using here is the Mystic Rainbow, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Look at the twinkles, not to be confused with a hint of blue. But how gorgeous would they be together? So, should we make a gold one? Should we do the champagne one? Got the time. So, let me get my bits and my bobs out of my kit. So again, if you want to make this smaller, then just use less and do whatever size that you want to. If you want to make it larger, you've got enough to make 4 8-inch bracelets in your kit. So you can just take one from some if you want to. I'm still going to cut 8 inches, but I don't think I'll do this one quite as long, but we'll see. So let me just untangle my wire. So I'm using my Tigertail. I'm cutting approximately 8 inches just to make sure I've got plenty to work with. Move that out of the way and just pop that back in there so it doesn't untangle. I'm going to start with my crimp and my Callottes. Look at this. Is this just the most pretty little clasp? Joanne says this one will be nice and easy while watching spooky films in the evening, just right for this month. What's your favourite spooky film? I love Death Becomes Her. Love that film. Love it. With Goldie Hawn and Meryl Streep. Absolutely love that film. It'll be Christmas films before we know it. And as a fellow witch, I like anything witchy. So, things like The Craft, and I haven't watched a spooky film for ages. I'm not really into I don't like gory. I don't like gory, like slasher, like horror things. I prefer something like more like thrillers, maybe, in a way you kind of think on things. And I think it's always better if you can't quite see like the monster or whatever it is, like the antagonist, whatever that is. I think it's better if you use your own imagination. Though saying that, I do love like zombie apocalypse stuff as well. I'll watch that all year round. So I'm putting my clot and my 2 crimp beads on, bringing one right up to the end and flattening that down to close. Bringing the next one up just to meet it. So I'm pressing them down in the same direction and they're right over that tiger tail. Sliding my clot up and around the crimp beads, and then with my pliers just kind of closing towards the end of that center, towards the end, and that will give it a nice firm close up. Just making sure that those crimp beads are caught inside. Anastasia, if you are teaching somebody, you know, how to make a bracelet, I can't give enough praise to a clot. You can get them with little hooks, and I'll be using them in maybe a week or two. So I'll be showing you how to use the different style of these as well. But you know, I use a clot in like almost anything, just because it just get that crimp bead in. Just because I think they give a really professional, neat finish, and they're really, really easy to use. I know people who have been making jewellery for many years. They are very accomplished in lots of different techniques, and they just don't like crimp beads and crimping pliers. And then if you have just got your crimp beads out, then you've got to use crimp covers to kind of make it look neat and more practical magic, Joanne. Yes. Yeah, you've got to use then kind of a bead cover, and sometimes they don't always go on right either. Joanne says practical magic and the craft are my particular favourites. I've not seen that for ages. I'm so going to have to watch that. Poltergeist trilogy is over the next few nights. And maybe a bit Casper. Oh, I went to see Casper with my mum at the Pictures. Well, the cinema, but we called it the Pictures. Oh, of course, Hocus Pocus. How have I forgotten about that? Love Hocus Pocus. I like the original one, I think, a little bit better. Hi, Barbara. We're talking spooky films and making pretty jewellery. Oh, Hocus Pocus. Oh, where have I been? If I'd have just thought for a minute, I'd have been all over that. Yeah, love that. Right, okay. I'm just going to go with the same pattern, I think. So I'm going to pop on my little gorgeous spacer cube. These are in a beautiful gold finish. Let's open up this string of bicones and gorgeous squares. I tend to start with my cube crystal first rather than the bicone, but that sounded like one fell on the floor. But you can do whatever you want. So I'm just going to bring that crystal cube onto my tiger tail and my spacer, and then I'm adding my bicone, and I'm just going to alternate between the two, and I'm just going to make whatever length I kind of feel. So I'll measure this against my ruler, and obviously you're going to get a little bit of additional length with your clasp and your callotte on. What else? What other films? I haven't watched a spooky film for ages. I've been watching, quite like watching kind of like Korean, like horror-y stuff and things. We watched Alice in Borderland. I preferred the last series to the middle one. Obviously, you've got your like Squid Games and things, which really didn't enjoy the last series of that, but the first one was very shocking. Train to Busan is a brilliant one. Again, they are very gory. There's loads of zombie stuff that I've liked watching. Walking Dead, I absolutely used to love that. They had the writers' strike, so it went off a little bit in my opinion, and I've not really watched any of the spin-off series. But I don't know what it is about zombie stuff. I think it was Romero that created the concept of a zombie, and I guess it represents like death slowly snapping at your heels. But yeah, some of them run and some of them are very fast. I don't mind a jumpy thing, something that makes me jump. I don't really like gore. So something a bit more kind of like psychological thriller, I suppose. Oh, Barbara says, I watched Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf yesterday. Great movie. I've not seen that. Don't know what I've been watching lately. Anyone watching The Traitors? Traitors UK is on at the moment, the celebrity one, and it's brilliant. I do love the telly. I love film. I've got a degree in television and film. And just love immersing myself in something completely different. Right. I think this might be a little bit small. Let me just check. I'm alternating between my cubes and my bicones. Camille says, just watching Daryl in Europe spin-off from The Walking Dead. You like Daryl? I say I didn't watch any of the spin-offs though, because like Maggie went with Negan and whatnot, didn't she? And I like, is Andrew Lincoln? He used to be in Teachers. I think it was called Teachers. He's a very good actor. I'm not doing any jewellery now, just talking films. Right, let's see the length of this one. So again, started with a cube, finished with a cube, and started with my spacer. So that is, I'll make it a little bit bigger by the time I put my clasp on. Probably still won't fit me. So we do another bicone and spacer and another gorgeous cube. Look at these. Can you see the colour on these? Are they showing up properly? They have got gorgeous champagne twinkle to them. I won't talk too much about like TV series because people might not have caught up. And some people, if you're not interested in it, you don't want to listen to it, do you? But yeah, Traitors is really good. I've watched a few different series from around the world. I've watched the Australian one, watched the American one because they film it still in the same castle, I think, in Scotland. Right, I think this would be the size for me. If I can't get it on, I'll have to gift it, which, or I could always put an extender chain on it as well, I suppose. I like my bracelets. I don't like them too large where they're slipping down my wrist, to be honest. Let's get another cube out. But also you don't want them too tight. And it's going to be too big now. Maybe I should have just left it at 6 and finished it there. Okay, we'll gift it. So start with a cube, finish it with a cube. All I need to do is pop my callotte on. I'm going to get that nice rounded shape. It's just a gentle curve, doesn't have to be anything too particular. I'm going to pop on my crimp bead. Let's move that ruler out the way. The current Traitors is filmed near us in the Scottish Highlands, says Izzy. It looks very pretty. 13 Ghosts is good. Creepy and jumpy, says Barbara. Joanne says, I'm going to have to try and fit it in Amityville. And Camille says, the Japanese make brilliant horror films. They really, really do. I like, the thing is, if I watch a foreign film, like a film which isn't in spoken English, for me, I personally have to have the subtitles on. I don't like watching it dubbed because I think you lose a lot of the kind of acting and character if you get do you know what I mean? If it's dubbed over, it just doesn't. It feels a bit false. It feels a bit forced. So I have to be in the mood where I'm not making if I'm watching a foreign film because I can't make and read at the same time. Jan says, whoops, I started something, didn't I? Still paying attention to your making. I'm not. Sorry, Joanne. Right, welcome to Totally Beads. We are on a film club. We do make jewellery. So I'm just flattening that out. I'm so easily distracted. I really, really am. Especially if you get me talking about like Halloween. Does anybody have any Halloween traditions? Because it's Halloween soon. So what are your Halloween traditions? We used to do like duck apple, and things on a string that you used to have to get with your mouth and your hands tied behind your back. Trick or treating, I'm very disappointed we won't be able to have any trick or treaters this year because my house looks like a house of horrors. I've got a skip in the front, rubble up the drive, a portaloo for the work people. So yeah, it's not safe enough to have trick or treaters, but I still desperately want to decorate my house. But we'll talk about that on Wednesday. We'll talk about we'll save that conversation. Let me know. And are you making any Halloween themed jewelry? Are you making any spooky ghosts or anything like that? I have, if you're looking for tutorials on spooky stuff, I have got a wire wrapped pumpkin. We've done little spooky cats. I've got a little spooky cat over there. I'll show you a little beaded version of that. What else have we done? We've got lots of Halloween charms. I made some lovely skull earrings once upon a time, using little hematite skulls. So if you are looking for some Halloween themed jewellery, there's loads on the website. I'll show you them on Wednesday as well. Right, so all I'm doing now is popping on my Callottes and my crimps and then my jump rings through the Callottes to attach my lovely toggle clasp. I didn't talk you through that last one whatsoever. So we've got time, we'll make another one, and then I just chatted to you about film. There you go. Gorgeous little bracelet. And what's good about having your calotte is you can see I've got all that room to put my toggle through. Sometimes if you bead right up to your toggle, you need that movement in the toggle to be able to essentially lay it flat to get it through the ring. If that bar's too tight up against the bead and it's too stiff, you haven't got that movement and kind of flexibility in it. So using the calottes and these little beads, just absolutely gorgeous. Fairness Born says, lovely and sparkly. Thank you, Natalie. You're welcome, Rachel. Yolanda says, how long will it be before your home is finished? That, Yolanda, is the question. They've told me Christmas. They've not said which Christmas. I'm hoping it will be this Christmas, but it's all the decoration. But I might have a roof next week. It's been a long slog. They're working very hard. I can't fault them. They're saying that, then it's quiet in the back, isn't it, now, because they've gone for breakfast. Usually it's me making them something, but they think they've gone to a cafe this morning. So I don't know. I really don't know. Not quick enough. I'm starting to lose patience, really. I just want it done. I'm sick of the mud. So thank you so much for being with me today. I hope you really like these bracelets. They are Ariana crystal bracelets on the Totally Beads website. Each of your kit is going to make 4 gorgeous bracelets. They are £15.99 for a kit, and of course you can change your currency. I am going to double check with Simon and the warehouse and hopefully get that mirror, rainbow mirror on the black plate updated, so that will be in stock for you if you would like to get that particular colourway. I hope you all have a wonderful start to the week. What are we doing on Wednesday? Oh, now because we pushed things back a little bit because we had that technical thing that affected the internet everywhere on that Monday, we are slightly a bit one behind, so I'm not quite sure, but I think on Wednesday, I don't mean to wag my finger at you, sorry. On Wednesday, I think I'm making lovely little beaded necklaces with you, but I'm making kind of like a loopy design with it, a bit different, but very pretty. So come and join me then if you can. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful start to the week, and I will see you on Wednesday. Stay spooky.